All right, guys, before we get started, I just want to say that I'm the best at Counter-Strike. Nobody can beat me.
Oh, come on, Donald. You say that every time, but we all know that's not true.
Yeah, you may be good, but don't forget about the time I clutched with an AWP in a 1v5 on Dust 2.
Yeah, Bush is scary with that Dragon Lore op. He can blow the pants off a man harder than Jill did to me at the Maplewood High School prom.
Jesus Christ, Joe, you don't just go dropping that shit in the middle of a YouTube tier list. I mean, Christ, there could be kids watching.
Relax, man. This was back in '62. Things were different then. Only thing that you had to worry about was the commies blowing us all to hell then. Simpler times.
That's great, Joe, but why don't you start the tier list before you get lost in memory lane?
Okay, fine, then let's talk about Agency. It's one of the newest maps in CS.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace from the older maps like Dust 2 and Office.
I agree. It has a lot of verticality and different levels that make for interesting gameplay. There are a lot of new nade throws to learn on this one.
I also appreciate the level of detail on the map. A lot of nice clear sight lines and plenty of areas that can actually be effectively cleared with an AWP.
And the lighting is great too. Not many places to hide. In Inferno, for example, it makes it easy for Bill to lurk, just like a white van outside an elementary school.
Agreed, but one thing, Donnie. It's difficult to attack as a CT. The layout of the map makes it easier for T-side to quickly move from one location to another.
I agree. I've had some frustrating experiences trying to attack the objective as CT.
Oh, you mean like the time you tried to wall bang with the AWP and wound up killing Donald, which lost us a 2v1 on a rank-up match? Yeah, that would be very frustrating.
Maybe if you weren't fucking around lurking with the Negev half that game, we would have won.
Seriously, big skill issue if you can't kill with a Negev, Bill.
I would like to see you try your luck with it.
Luck? I don't need luck. I have skill.
Anyways, I think it's a well-designed map that offers a good balance of gameplay for both sides. Besides, it's one of the few hostage rescue maps in the game, and one of the good ones at that. At least B tier.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's definitely up there. A tier seems like a better ranking.
Same here. It's a solid map that I enjoy playing on.
Completely disagree. It's a B-tier map at best. I would say that it's an improvement on Office. And that's saying something.
Agreed, Office isn't a good CS map, and like Obama said, this is just an upgraded version of Office B-tiered map.
Okay, fine. B tier it is. Looks like we have Ancient up next. It is a great map. I mean, just look at the design. It's so nice to have a tropical setting instead of being in some backwards Middle Eastern shithole like a lot of the other maps in CS.
Of course, you would say that, Bill, you bought the agent skins that makes it easy for you to blend in and get a shit ton of lurk kills.
The few times we've played Ancient, we've usually won because of it, Joe, and besides, I really enjoy the map. It's got some really interesting areas and angles to play with.
I think Ancient is a balanced map, but Joe definitely has a point, Barack. Ancient started a clusterfuck with the agent skins that hasn't really ever been solved.
I agree with Bush. This map is a clusterfuck similar to the clusterfuck that was the invasion and evacuation from Afghanistan that both happened under Democratic presidents.
Donald, Bush is a Republican, and when you call me sleepy?
I don't remember that.
It's fine, Donald. We all know thinking was never your strongest trait.
You son of a...
Okay, guys, I get that we're all pissed at each other, so I'm just going to take back anything I said positive about this map and just put in C tier before Donnie says something that gets us demonetized. Obama, what's our next map?
Okay, we got Anubis. Has anyone actually played this map, or is it any good?
Well, I haven't played it, but I've heard it be compared to Dust 2, so it has to be somewhat good.
I wouldn't make my worst enemy play Dust 2 terrible map.
What are you talking about, Donnie? You love Dust 2.
Yeah, what the hell? We played it last night, Donald.
Yeah, and we got absolutely destroyed.
It was only a 16-0 loss, no big deal.
Joe, what are you even talking about? That's a huge deal. Besides, I was bottom fragging.
Okay, this conversation has been completely derailed. Just put Anubis into haven't played and move on.
Agreed. Stupid to argue over something you can't have any effect on.
Okay, fine. What's up next, Barry?
All right, gentlemen, let's discuss Cache. What do you guys think about it?
Well, I think it's a solid map for competitive play. The layout is easy to understand, and it provides a good balance for both sides.
I agree, it's one of the better maps in the game. The bomb sites are well placed and offer a variety of strategies for both T and CT sides.
I like the aesthetics of the map. The Soviet aesthetics on this map and train hold a deep reverence in my heart. But the gameplay is what's important, and it definitely delivers.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you enjoy the communist aesthetics, but I've always found Cache to be a bit boring, to be honest. There's not a lot of room for innovation or creativity. There aren't many ways to smoke either site, and sometimes brute forcing through the vent or corridor is the best way to play.
I can see where you're coming from, and I'm surprised you can fit through that vent. But I have to disagree. There are plenty of opportunities for a well-tossed nade to change the outcome of a round.
Barack, I don't know why we let you do the grenade strats on any of these maps. Half the time they miss, or they wind up fucking us over.
Yeah, too many times I've gotten fucked over using the op in mid by one of Barry's smokes or Molotovs.
That's a fair point. But the saving grace from Barry's bad grenades is that there are also plenty of opportunities to use his bad nade to get the jump on your enemies. I mean, who would think that you would charge like a crackhead when you just got fragged by your own team?
I'll admit that Cache does have some positives like its long sight lines and noisy corridors, but overall I just don't find it very exciting compared to a match on a map like Train, where it can be more skill-based.
That may be true, but I think we can all agree that Cache is a solid and reliable map that stood the test of time in the CSGO community.
Absolutely, it's a classic map that always delivers a good game.
All right, let's talk about Dust 2, the goated map. It's been around as long as this game has been around.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most iconic maps in the game, but it fucking sucks donkey balls now. Before y'all cut me off, let me explain.
You better be quick, Joe.
You want to get added to the Clinton hit list, Joe?
Let him cook.
Thank you. Okay, while Dust 2 might be iconic because of the easy learning curve and being the most accessible map in the game, it is also suffering from success. Dust 2 still has a rampant hacker problem even in 2023, and I think that we have all encountered hackers on Dust 2 before. In addition, so many new players use this map to learn CS, which, while a good thing, also means that this map in particular will always have players who are either highly ranked in ELO or lowly ranked in their ELO. I wouldn't put Dust 2 above B tier.
Personally, while I think you might be fucking retarded, that actually makes a lot of sense, Joe.
I see your point, but I think that just makes it more challenging and strategic for both sides. Plus, there's a wide variety of playstyles and strategies that can be used on Dust 2, which used properly can beat even the best.
That's true, there's a lot of room for improvisation on Dust 2, and that's because it is such a well-balanced map.
Let me finish by saying I think it's a good map for both casual and competitive play, but sometimes it can feel a little overplayed and familiar.
Yeah, that's definitely a valid concern. But I think the simplicity of the layout is part of what makes it so iconic.
My biggest issue with Dust 2 is that it can lead to stalemate situations and lengthy rounds. Players can easily hold down certain areas and choke points, and if you have a good player holding down a site, it can easily become frustrating.
I can see how that can be frustrating, but it's part of the game, so what? You might throw a mouse at a wall or start typing the N-word in chat. You have to find ways to outsmart the other team.
Simply put, get good.
Well, it seems like we all have slightly different opinions on this map, but I think we can all agree that it's a classic and iconic map that has stood the test of time. But I'm still arguing it belongs in B tier.
Joe, we might disagree on a lot, but Dust 2 being in B tier is one thing I think we can negotiate on. Let's put it in A tier, just for old time's sake, buddy.
You know what? Fine, Donnie, just out of respect to you, my best friend.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna cry.
Same here, Bill.
It's okay, guys. We only got one more map to do today.
Okay, so what do you guys think about Inferno?
I think it's a great map. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like Inferno too. It's a classic map that's been around and requires teamwork and map knowledge to make it work.
It's definitely a challenging map. It requires a lot of coordination and strategy. If you decide to play with randoms, there's no guarantee that you'll win on Inferno, but I think that's what makes it great. It requires you to play with people you know and trust to play well.
I agree. The narrow streets and tight corners can make it difficult to move around and control the map, which makes it essential to have someone watching your back at all times.
That's true, and I think that's what makes it so fun, that you really have to work as a team to be successful on Inferno.
And I like how the map is balanced. Both the terrorists and the counter-terrorists have a fair shot at winning.
Okay, Donnie, we were on a roll and you had to say something stupid like that. Inferno is obviously a CT-sided map, but it can be easily controlled by terrorists knowing how to play and use utilities properly.
That's true. It can be tough for the T side to push through some of those choke points and get to the bomb sites.
But that's where strategy comes in. Like Barry said, if you plan your moves carefully and use your grenades wisely, you can overcome those obstacles.
Fine, good points, but can we agree how good the map looks? It's really unique in CS.
Absolutely. The setting in Italy gives it a lot of character and makes it stand out from other maps.
Overall, I think Inferno is a great addition to the game and provides a lot of fun and challenge for players.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic map that's here to stay.
Agreed, Inferno is one of my favorites, and I always have a blast playing it. Let's put it in S tier.
Controversial take, but why not? I'm always up for a controversy.
Well, that looks like we got half the maps. Let's get the other half tomorrow. It's getting late.
Wow, an actual nuanced take on CSGO maps, and surprisingly, no Russian screaming slurs in the background. Anyway, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.